All right, today we are diving into the story of a composer who was, I'm not kidding, basically a 19th century DJ. This is a guy who took the traditional sounds of his home country, remixed them, and created these legendary tracks that, trust me, you almost definitely know. So let's get into it.
Okay, so listen to this for a second.
Yeah, that one. Ring any bells? I bet it does. If you've ever been in an epic boss battle in a video game, watched a crazy intense movie scene, or, let's be real, even just scrolled through TikTok, you've heard this. It's like the official theme song for uh-oh, things are about to go down. But here's the question. Do you have any idea who actually wrote it?
So, the mastermind behind that absolute banger of a tune was a composer from Norway named Edvard Grieg. And what is just wild is that he was writing this stuff over 150 years ago, but his music is still, well, it's everywhere. He's kind of like this musical ghost who's been secretly soundtracking huge parts of your life without you even knowing it.
But look, before Grieg could become this legendary innovator, he had to do something really important first. He had to learn the rules. You know, it's kind of like a pro gamer. You have to completely master the current meta, right? You have to know every character, every move, before you can come up with a brand new strategy that just breaks the game wide open. That was Grieg. He had to learn that classical music playbook cover to cover.
So here's the quick and dirty on his origin story. Grieg was born way back in 1843 in Norway, and he started piano lessons when he was just 7 years old. And get this, he was so good that his parents sent him off to study at the Leipzig Conservatory in Germany. I mean, this place was like the Harvard of music back then, a huge deal. It was there he studied all the greats. We're talking Mozart, Beethoven, and learned all the nitty-gritty about harmony and how to build a song. He basically got a masterclass in the standard, totally by-the-book classical style.
Okay, so after he completely mastered the rules, Grieg heads back home to Norway, and that's where he finds his unique cheat code, the one secret ingredient that was going to make his music totally different from every single other composer in Europe.
So what was his big secret? It was simple, really, but also totally genius. It was the folk music of his home country, Norway. He took all those traditional songs and dance rhythms that he grew up with and started mixing them right into his classical compositions. It was this perfect blend of old-school tradition and high-class training.
Now, to really get why this was such a massive deal, we need to talk for a sec about something called harmony. Don't worry, it's not that complicated. Harmony is just the way different notes get combined to make chords. And honestly, the best way to think about it, it's like building a squad for a video game. You're picking different characters whose special abilities are going to work together to create a really powerful effect. So think about it like this. The traditional harmony of the time, that was the standard meta. Everybody used it, it was balanced, it was predictable, it followed all the rules. But what Grieg was doing with his folk harmony, that was like a surprise pick in a tournament. It was totally unexpected, way more emotional, and it just created these brand new vibes that people had literally never heard before. It was a total game changer.
All right, so we know his secret sauce now, right? He's mixing those classical rules with these raw Norwegian folk vibes. So let's dive into some of the legendary tracks he cooked up with this new recipe.
First up, we have to talk about his piano concerto in A minor. You guys, if Grieg ever had a track go viral across 19th century Europe, this was it. This was the banger that turned him into an international superstar. It's still one of the most famous piano pieces ever written, and it's just pure, uncut Grieg. The whole thing is basically a three-part journey. It kicks off with this incredibly dramatic and powerful intro that just grabs you. Then, the vibe totally shifts, and it moves into this beautiful, kind of chilled-out middle section with a melody that's just gorgeous. And to finish it all off, an absolutely epic, high-energy finale that's filled with those awesome Norwegian dance rhythms. It is a total emotional roller coaster from start to finish. So next up, Grieg gets this awesome gig. He's asked to write the soundtrack for a super famous Norwegian play called Peer Gynt, and the music he wrote for it became so ridiculously popular that he ended up releasing it on its own. These collections, or suites, have some of his most famous tunes ever. And yeah, you absolutely know these two. The first is Morning Mood. I mean, come on, that is the ultimate peaceful wake-up song you hear in cartoons right as the sun is coming up. And the other one, that's In the Hall of the Mountain King. Yep, the same intense, sneaky track we heard at the very beginning, the one that just builds and builds and builds until it totally explodes. And it wasn't just about these huge orchestral hits either. The guy was incredibly productive. On top of everything else, he also wrote over 160 songs just for a singer and a piano, a lot of them inspired by Norwegian poetry. I mean, 160? The guy was an absolute machine.
Okay, let's bring it all home. Why are we still talking about some composer from the 1800s? What's the big deal? Why does Grieg still matter today?
Well, here's why he's so important. Grieg didn't just write amazing music. He literally put his entire country, Norway, on the world's musical map. He became this powerful symbol of Norwegian culture. And what he proved was that you could take your own local, unique traditions and remix them into something the entire world could appreciate and love. He basically showed everyone that you don't have to copy what's popular to become a global star.
So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this sentence right here. He gave Norway a musical identity by combining folk melodies with classical forms, creating a sound that was both deeply personal and totally universal. He told the story of his home, and the whole world leaned in to listen. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Grieg created a soundtrack for Norway. So my question for you is, if you had to make a soundtrack for your town, or your neighborhood, or even just for your group of friends, what would that sound like? What are those unique beats and vibes that tell your story?